Hey guys.
I didn't realize how famous drama is.
I mean, I got to live it.
I mean, we all did.
I was literally with him everywhere. He's famous.
It's really
He's
strange
famous.
now though. Like the way that it is now. Because now like look, the whole thing's weird to me. Like my perspective of it all is very weird. Because it's also, you got to understand, like it's not like I was like a famous musician or like an athlete. Like I trained my whole life. One day I had these other stars that I was looking up to. So it's just like super weird. But now everyone's just so calm about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like no one freaks out. No one asks for autographs. No one asks for pictures.
I mean, we saw you in Cleveland when we went to the Cavs Warriors game 6.
Yeah.
I think it was 2015, 16.
That was like still peak television.
Yeah. It's
He was
weird
like
now.
a Beatle. He was like a Beatle.
Yeah.
But now
You
it's so
didn't
casual.
stop.
Now it's just literally like I have a lot of friends.
Yes. Like I know you. I know who you are.
Yeah. Like, what's up?
Great to meet you.
Yeah. Crazy, man. It's like almost like a lot of friends I haven't seen in a long time.
So the point of the conversation, I go to a Mexican spot that Dee goes to weekly at the Grove, and I'm sitting there with Maverick and whatever. We're doing like food and chips and salsa. And he's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I was in clothing." And he asked me what brands.
Yeah.
And he didn't know 5'4". He knew Young and Reckless.
Yeah.
He goes, "You know drama?"
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, yes.
And I was telling you guys too, like, even on the business that I work on, like most of the employees are females, and so they don't know, they don't care, they don't know. I have a completely normal existence. Everyone calls me Chris. Totally normal. And then
I hate Chris.
I know.
I'm really mad at
You don't ever have to
Chris.
call me Chris.
Everybody hates Chris.
Look,
I hate Chris. I love drama.
you in no time in your life ever have to call me Chris. I'll never, transition. But always like a month in, there's like a weird moment where they're like, "Hey, my brother or my boyfriend or whatever freaked out. He asked like if I have Zoom calls with you." It's really fun. It's a strange thing, but I will say much more enjoyable now than it was for me when I was younger, because now, like I said, it just feels like there's a bunch of friends I haven't seen in a long time.
No, it's really cool. And I like the refresher of how famous you are, even though you don't want to accept it.
Right.
But people, when I reference Young and Reckless and drama, they're like, "You know him?" And
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah. Well, that whole era was like so probably like prevalent to a lot of young males who are now, my guess, late 20s
This
or
guy's
early
29.
30s.
He said 6th grade to 29.
Yeah.
It was also before like there were so many options, so I feel like almost all men of that generation had some level of
pre-Andrew Tate.
Yeah. We weren't competing with Andrew Tate and the Pauls and
like you guys were very popular. And
here's what else happened that was really funny is the other day, Johnny Knoxville works out at my gym.
Yeah.
And so the other day I was working out, Johnny's working out, we filmed a couple episodes with him. I know him, and we're just working out. And one of the guys in the gym was like, "Dude, this is my entire teenage years." Yeah. It's literally you two. And I was like, "Yeah, that's funny." Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure now that you're off television, you don't remember as much, but I would assume Rob still gets.
I mean, Rob's on TV. He runs MTV.
Yeah, he's still on TV every day, so I'm sure
Rob's is totally different. I mean, I went to like Cabo with Rob a few months ago, and it's like every server, like they play it in Mexico, so like every employee of the hotel, like it's crazy.
I mean, when I think about television today, like on TV, I'm not talking about like a streaming service.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who's on TV more than Rob? Nobody, right?
Well, who has consecutively been on? Yeah.
Yeah, probably that's it. That's literally
Stephen A. Smith is
probably. Yeah, that's probably it.
Why doesn't Rob run for president? I saw Trump said Stephen A. would be a great candidate.
Stephen A. is doing the
Rob
thumb.
could. Rob could probably get some,
easily run for president.
Rob
Rob could definitely run for president.
He could get some polling. You know, he could battle it out with Stephen A. like in a month if you gave him a month of.
I think Rob's got to go Republican. He can't be Democrat.
No, but I think the move right now is to go Democrat.
Well,
if you're like the Democrat
that's the opportunity.
guy.
That's the opportunity.
You know how we used to talk about how drama went MAGA 10 years ago?
Yeah.
You would be a
You
hero.
were right. Not only would I have gotten really rich during that period, but now it wouldn't have even mattered.
No, now being Republican's like boring.
Normal.
Right.
It's boring.
Yeah. You're like everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone has that view.
Yeah. Well,
So obviously before we get in the news, I had a close friend of all of ours. He came over to the house yesterday and he was telling me that actors that aren't A-listers are really screwed. He's like, no one's getting business. So bleep this out.
Yeah.
And he's like, everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're Michael B. Jordan, you're Kevin Hart, you're The Rock, you're making money.
That makes sense.
He goes, if you're not those levels.
Yeah. Which is, you know, in any other industry, that's how it works. The best get paid. Everyone is happy to work there. And so entertainment didn't embrace the shift of what is relevant to America, particularly. And when you see what's popular in America, it's not the most popular television show. Like as popular as White Lotus is, it's for millennials. It's a very small segment of the population. Yeah. It's not global popular.
It's not $1 billion franchise.
No, it's not. It's nowhere near it. It's very niche when it's all said and done. And I think it just shows that like content has evolved. What people care about have evolved. And I'm not surprised to hear that like a B-list, C-list actor in America can't make a living anymore. I'm not surprised at all. And I think the bigger thing is that that's everything. You have to be the best to make the fuck you money.
Yeah. America
was always like anyone could make it. It's not anymore. It's the best make it. Everyone else, unfortunately, I think it's hard. It's very, very hard. Luckily, Trump said no more movies outside of America. 100% tariff.
USA.
You want
my actors to be American, goddammit.
Yeah.
And I want them shooting here.
And by the way, I want to know who the terrorist nation is. No more of this anonymous terrorist nation. Say it.
So I thought it was interesting that only, he's obviously a very successful actor. And he said everyone's nervous because they're not getting gigs.
But well, that's for sure. Real quick question, just on a business level. It's like, is it more because of lower rates or people are cutting their budgets, slates, or like?
I think anyone can play the role. They don't care.
Right.
Well, because no one's famous anymore.
Right.
Like,
so like
you have the A-listers, right? The Rock.
Yeah. And then you just fill it with whoever.
Fill it with everyone else, with whoever can just speak in a microphone. We should be in the movies.
Right. It also seems like the era of like the writer. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of like star writers. I don't know. I wonder how people, I'm not in the industry enough to know about it, but I wonder how our friend would talk about it. Like, over the weekend, I finished watching one of the Taylor Sheridan shows, 1923. And like that guy just can't miss, right? Like the Yellowstone dude.
It's very violent, that show.
Incredibly violent. You shouldn't watch it.
So I watched it on a plane. And I watched like the edited version on a plane, and I was like, "Whoa, I can't do this."
Yeah, you can't.
Did he do Landman? He did Landman?
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch Landman.
Landman's the best of all of them.
So here's the other thing.
Better than Yellowstone, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I learned over the weekend, which is very relevant to everything that's going on. a very senior person at WhatsApp that I'm very friendly with.
Yeah.
He has a London office and he's trying to build it out. And he said no H-1Bs from America will go because they're afraid they'll never get to come back. He's like, I can't fill the office.
I hate that.
Well, why doesn't other people go from India to London?
Well, talented people are already here.
Yeah,
He's trying to,
because we have the
also,
best.
like, I mean, look, I don't want to, like, I don't want to fucking make fun of
he
anyone.
literally told me this, and our cousin works for him.
I know.
I know.
He literally is a report.
To me, that's the media's fault. I blame the media for that. It's just like,
that's
dude,
not true.
I don't want to make fun of someone else's fucking fear. I get it. I'm not an H-1B person. Maybe I would feel differently if I were. Easy for the fucking white Ohio guy to say, but
yeah,
that is not happening. Like, that's not.
It's not happening.
It's not
Nothing's happening.
If that happened,
that Stanford story you said is fake. It's fake.
It's
not
fake.
real.
What are you talking about?
You can't look it up.
What
I
story?
looked it up 100 times.
I know the story. He had 2 speeding tickets. He got deported.
Get him out.
Pull
Sounds
it
like a
up
criminal.
and send me the article with
Josh
the
can
name.
pull it up.
No, it's fake. There's one article in The Guardian. The Guardian's fake news. There's one article.
I talked to my cousin.
Of course, he could be scared, but it's not real. It's not real. It's not.
I don't think
the media, bro.
No, drama. Do you believe it's real?
What's the story? Tell me the story. The H-1B holder had 2.
Everyone's just getting deported.
Yeah, no, you want to know why I know it's not real? Because the best that they have to use is a fucking MS-13 dude.
Yeah,
that abused his wife on record that has tattooed. Like, they're trying to make this guy
photoshopped. It was photoshopped.
No,
it doesn't matter.
right?
That's your best.
No,
so
hold on.
You think this?
Oh,
no,
God,
it was photoshopped.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Anand, what was photoshopped was when they said what the tattoos
MS-13.
mean.
MS-13 was photoshopped.
It was-
I have
But
so should I
marijuana,
get deported?
smiley,
You might
Jesus.
be. What does
Should I
that
get
say?
deported?
What does that say?
Yeah, get him out of here.
What
I
does
don't
that
know.
say?
I think it's a heartbeat. Get him out of here.
You know what? Alcatraz is open. We'll send your ass there.
There's
Not even El
there's a
Salvador.
gang sign on his arm. 2 A's. I don't know what Aryan. I don't know what that is.
Aryan Nation.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Get him out. Anyway, look, here's my only point. Number one, the best that they have is this Maryland story, which I have my problems with, just to be clear. But if there were H-1B people getting ripped out of the country for speeding tickets, there would be absolute fucking outrage, including from me and I think anyone reasonable. But I feel like the media is so fucking crazy that all of these people are so scared, and that's just not what's happening. It's just, it sucks, dude. And they even, like, they'll say it, like the administration will say it, or people will say it, like they're not. I don't know. My anger is with the media, and I think I saw how freaked out your friend was a couple of weeks ago that was on the episode that didn't even want to be on camera. I mean, I'm not blaming her, but like, that sucks that there's that level of fear.
Yeah, that's media. That's all media.
That's all media.
Real. It's not real.
But it influences people how they live their lives.
Yeah, because the media is.
I know, but that's the media's fault. Like, this is what I learned from Trump's last administration. This is why keep in mind, I didn't vote for Trump, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I have to say that every time. But the reason why it took all the sting out of Trump for me is because I was freaked out in 2016 and 17 and 18. And I believed all of this shit. And then when you really look at all of it, it's just never what they report. They make it sound so terrible, and it's Hitler and Elon's Hitler and everyone's terrible, and they're ripping people, no due process.
Everyone's getting deported.
But it's all fake.
How many of your friends have gotten deported?
None of my friends have been deported.
Why not?
Because they don't have parking tickets.
Bad hombres. So they follow the law.
Yeah.
Okay. Your friends follow the law.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. Yep.
All right. Let's talk tariffs. When do you turn the tide on tariffs? How many days?
I have 3 months.
Well, yeah, technically, if I'm being exact about my
April
personal
9th, I heard Ryan Peterson. He said April 9th, everything started.
Okay. So we're a month.
So now, what is it? May 3rd, 4th, whatever.
Not even using my own date. My own date is July, but not using my own date. I would say when I would start to have a very bad opinion about it would be like bankruptcies and empty shelves. That's definitely coming if it lasts long enough. But
you're talking to these retailers, Target, Walmart, you name them. What's going on since April 9th? It's now May 4th.
Honestly, they're not afraid at all. I talked to everyone. I had everyone in my office last week. No one cares.
I get the feeling people know something we don't.
Yes, they all are so confident that something's going to happen in the next. They all said 3 months.
I think
every
Trump's
single person said 3 months.
I think Trump talked to all the CEOs and was like, "Yo, here's the plan.
I'm going to fucking drag this out for 3 months.
I'm going to make it look terrible."
So you think it's
there's going to be lines for bread? And we're not going to have anything.
I'm not saying that. Relax, guys.
We're not saying you. We're saying CNN.
That's what they're saying in the media. The media is saying,
but my point
shelves are going to be empty. You're going to wipe your ass with fucking your chess pieces. You can't bring in goods at the cost that yes, and I think no one's bringing in goods.
But here's the other thing.
70%.
Here's the other thing on it is, however bad it is on us, it's worse on China. Like whatever's happening in China right now, I would say, I'm no genius economist, but you have to understand we're only looking at it through our lens. At the end of the day, I believe that the goal of the negotiation is a good one. Like I think making the trade imbalance more fair, and I think we've allowed China.
So, here's a question I have for you, Drama.
Yep.
You are a importer of goods that come from China.
Correct.
You're okay with stomaching 3 months of pain because you think you're doing the greater good for America.
You have no choice.
Well,
no, not your choice. I want to know your actual opinion.
My honest opinion, you said 3 months. My honest opinion is if it was 3 months of pain and then a better situation, I would be okay with that for
better situation for who?
For our trade imbalance, let's say, for America. I would say, I to be honest with you, I would feel okay with that as my small contribution.
You'll stomach the losses.
Yep.
What a great American.
Thank you.
Drama from Fantasy Factory.
What month is it not? 6 months? 9 months?
Proud to be an American.
I want to know. No, I'm actually curious. Because you're literally the person that's affected by this. I'm going to be fine.
He's unfazed. He's unfazed.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
I will tell you. I just want to give you the honest answer. I'll tell you when it comes. Essentially, I wouldn't be okay when my business doesn't work anymore.
What month is that? 6?
I don't know. Number one, I think that if you're, God, let me be careful with what I say. There's also like other options and things that we're working on, like making our stuff in other countries, the warehouse, the free trade zone, bonded warehouse. There's different, there's ways to sustain. It's not just like, all right, well, shit, all of my goods are twice as much now and there's nothing I can do about it at all. I can be agile and solve a lot of the problems. Maybe I might be able to do it forever, but you know what I mean? But so I don't know what the timeline is exactly, but if we're talking a few months and we're talking a couple orders and not exactly the profitability that we hope for this year, I'm proud to do my part.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. Proud to be an American.
But you're a 2 to 3 month guy. That's what I understand.
I got 3 months easy of like pure patriotism.
You don't have 9 months.
3 months of patriotism.
9 months, I'm not out of business. I'm confident.
No, I'm not saying you're out of business, but you're not making money.
9 months, I'm pretty upset. I'm not so proud to be an American, but I'm still singing.
It's not lasting 9 months.
It's not 9 months. By the way, our economy is decimated. Like
I've talked to, Friday I leave for China. And
wait,
I'm going to get a lot of good content.
5 days?
What?
5 days.
7 days.
Okay.
I'm there 7 days, Friday to Friday.
No, I'm saying you're leaving in 5 days. Yeah.
So If anyone wants to,
Can you pod from China or no?
you could try. Not gonna say anything negative. If you
Can
guys
we
say
do
anything negative,
Sunday pod from China? We'll do it on your time
Don't you have to
zone.
have like a VPN or some crazy fucking shit? Do they even let you do that?
Josh, can you figure it out? Get him.
I'll be
Gonna get
Monday
arrested.
day. Yeah, I'll be Monday like noon probably.
You're getting arrested.
Great.
I'm
buddy.
proud to
To
be
be
an
an
American.
American.
At least a pod from Shanghai.
So where so you're going to
No,
Hong Kong?
Monday.
You're going to
Monday I'm in Hong Kong. I can do Hong Kong.
Hong Kong's fine.
I'm not potting from fucking Guangzhou and Shanghai.
So where are you going?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Guangzhou, Shanghai,
Wait, no,
Hong Kong. Hong Kong, Guangzhou, Shanghai.
What's in Guangzhou? Factories?
No, a lot of companies we work with.
Well, look, here's the thing. This is my point that I was making is whatever's happening to us, it is worse in China. And so look, I don't know. I can't see the future, but I will tell you, I don't think that Trump and the administration are bloodthirsty psychopaths. I think that as much pain as we're looking at feeling here, we haven't really felt it yet. I think they're seeing it in China and they're seeing that it's completely unsustainable. And I just don't think that there's a world where our entire economy and every small business and everyone is completely decimated. I just don't think it happens. I think
I agree.
You're just hoping.
I'm not hoping. I think that it's like,
I think that's the case.
I talk a lot of shit, right? And so does Dee about like how unbalanced the China stuff is, or the federal debt, or all of these different things. And look, if I truly believe that, and I want there to be changes made, but to also expect that, hey, yeah, but don't fuck up my tariffs from China for a couple months. Like, I just think it's ridiculous to live that way. Like, I think, once again, we should not get to the point of businesses going out of business and our economy being destroyed. But I think that if you think you're going to get these big changes without some bumpy circumstances, I think it's crazy to think that way. That's how I feel today.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think we don't know what anything is going to happen in the next, I don't know, this week. I don't think anything's going to happen next week. I really think June, July, August is when we'll find the real bottom of this situation. And hopefully from there, we'll find a...
I don't think anyone knows when a deal gets done. There's no deal that has been done with all the 200 countries they're talking to. Not
zero.
one. Zero deals.
Yeah, and actually, I like the theory that it doesn't make sense to be the first deal because you're gonna get shit on. Cambodia, I told fucking Cambodia they're gonna take it. Yeah,
they just need to release like 5 at once. Like, we worked out 5 deals. Here they all are.
So what month are you turning on this entire?
I told you, I'll tell you when it comes. I think that
What month? We're already a month in.
I can't tell you. I literally can't tell you. You have to understand, Anand, my business is still so small comparatively that like I could also just move my manufacturing.
But have you?
I haven't yet because it's been a month, but it's totally doable. Like, I don't make some complex item that can only be made in China. So I can move my manufacturing. And there's nothing really changes for me. So it's not that.
This is Drama's new song.
Hold on.
Proud to be an Indian.
An Indian, where at least my goods are cheap.
All right. Your business will be fine.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Where do you think, what month other Americans should be concerned?
Look, I know you're forcing me to give you, so I'll say in September.
September is the month.
I think there will be bankruptcies, massive job loss, blood on the streets, empty shelves. And I would say, all right, I can't back this. September. There you go.
September is the month.
September is the day. September 1. Put it in our docket.
Maybe after Labor Day. People will have a nice Labor Day.
Yeah, they want the white party.
And by the way, there's no white party because homie's in jail. But
No, Michael Rubin doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Rubin
I'm talking about opening weekend of college football.
Okay.
Yeah. When's that? When's Labor Day?
September 1st, usually
It's
first
his
week of September.
birthday,
Yeah,
right?
birthday
It's your
weekend
birthday.
usually.
It's the first. It's literally the first. Okay, great.
Yeah,
so
September
I will.
1st. There you go.
I will. What do you want me to do? I'll apologize on the pod in September if tariffs are still 145%.
Okay, that's fine. Put that in the Hey Siri.
Put in the reminder.
Tariffs are 145%.
I'll remember it, don't
Drama
worry.
will
I know.
respond.
I'll remember it, don't worry.
Yeah.
So Warren Buffett finally retired.
Yep.
Oh, let me just do one quick thing, just because
Okay.
it's connected, and then we go to that. The
Oh,
one
wow,
thing I
connected.
want to add is when I see Anand, Temu halting shipments direct from China, that makes me happy. Like, I know that it's not permanent. I know that, but when I look at like a trade war and where we stand, and I see that, because personally, I think Temu has impacted me personally, but Temu personally, I think is really bad for American small business. And I think we've given them loopholes that make it that we don't have the same loophole with them. And I think that it makes it very difficult. And I think it's one-sided. So there are these little victories happening that I think make me feel proud to be an American.
An American.
Where at least I know I'm free.
No, look, we've all three of us have agreed that the Temu and Shein loophole is bad.
Right. So
I've said that as a liberal.
But that's that's good that it's getting shut down.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with that.
Okay. So anyway, back to Warren. I wanted to tie that into it was on that topic.
So Warren Buffett, most famous investor of all time and the most successful investor of all time, at 95 years old, finally retired.
Yep.
Well, he said at the end of the year, he will step down as CEO, pass on the reins to be like an advisor to the company.
Greg Abel.
Yeah. And what's interesting about, obviously it was a big news if you're into finance, Warren Buffett stepping down. And the thing that I found most interesting about this was 10 years ago, Berkshire Hathaway invested in Apple. 10 years ago. The most successful investment in Berkshire Hathaway is Apple.
Yep.
And the difference between them investing in Apple and the S&P 500 is literally the only difference. If you strip away Apple from Berkshire Hathaway, it basically performed alongside the S&P 500.
No,
But
so hold on. So 1964 is when Berkshire Hathaway started.
Yep.
They have 5.5 million % of accrual in investment. The S&P is 39%. So if you put 10 grand in Berkshire in 1964, it'd be worth 550 million.
Yeah. 550 million?
Yes. 5.5 million %.
Okay. And what the most interesting thing is what Warren Buffett said over the weekend is that the most successful investment he ever did was at Apple 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, he made like $200 billion.
And what's interesting is like that one investment was the difference between outperforming the S&P 500 and not of his entire investment career. And so I think the most interesting thing about that is we look at a lot of these investment trends, like AI is happening right now. And you're looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the leader of AI because of the chips. If we looked at NVIDIA today, everyone would say, we missed it. It's overvalued. It's over. I don't know. It may be that case in the case of NVIDIA, it may not. Whatever gave Warren Buffett the confidence to invest at Apple 10 years ago at a $600 billion valuation gave him the most amount of wealth he's ever created.
Yep.
And I think it's fascinating to see that you don't need to be the first to be the most successful at investing at something. You do have to be patient, and it's a very, very, very long journey. And so like Warren Buffett's whole story has always been time. He basically took the time to win these.
Well, that's his line, right?
Yeah.
It's not time in market.
It's not about timing the market. It's about timing
sorry.
the market.
Yeah. Not timing the market, but market and time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just fascinating to see.
I honestly think investing's really tough right now.
I don't. He made a comment over the weekend. He's like, are you down 15%? If you're not down at least 15%, what are you even complaining about?
No, not public equities, like investing in companies.
No, but he's a public equity guy.
Yeah, I know.
Most of the world is public equity.
Yeah, 99%.
Yeah.
But I do think private investing has changed dramatically in the last 18 months, 2 years. Basically, if you're not AI, you're not.
That's private. That's such a small amount of money.
I know. I'm just saying it's just something that I'm
the
involved
gambling
in.
of investing. Like,
yeah. It's just something that I'm involved in, and I have to like kind of take pause because you have no money, you have no product, and you want $1 billion valuation. Like, okay, cool.
Right.
Not interested.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, no one has out invested Warren Buffett. He's the greatest investor of all time.
No, he's the GOAT.
So even all these private investing people, what are they doing? This guy invested Apple 40 years after it created, and it's still the best investment ever. So when you think about where you can allocate capital, you don't need to be in the private market. I think there was this FOMO from previous eras where all the money was made in startups, but the most successful investor ever just invested in Apple 10 years after the iPhone was created.
right.
Or 8 years after the iPhone was created.
Right.
And ended up becoming the most successful investor. So
it's funny. It's just like anything else where like the story of like the Uber investors is so sexy that that's all you hear. And so everyone thinks like that's, but investing in Apple a decade ago is not, exciting news. And so people don't talk about it.
Right.
And it's like,
but the difference is the quantum of capital that he was able to invest.
Right.
Gives him hundreds
but
of
the same
dollars.
principle is true for your average investor. Like, if you're taking your savings and putting it into the S&P 500 and being patient, that is the most likely best way to build wealth over the long term, even for, someone with a 9 to 5 and whatever. Whereas everyone wants to sports bet or trade options on Robinhood or, and it's like, still, I bet you, even if you looked at two, cashiers and their investment portfolios, the one that did the S&P and held is the Warren Buffett of cashiers versus you look at someone else's, a book over 10 years and like, I fucking DraftKings and then I options, so the principle is still true. And I think that's the unfortunate thing. We've talked about it a lot on this pod, but it's still very much not in the average American's psyche that is the best option. It's available to anyone. It's so easy. Like I talk to so many people about this stuff and most people do not understand.
Yeah. And I think, the problem is you hear the stories of people having success doing something else, but the most successful person just did the most basic thing that's available to all of us.
Right.
So like, if you think about, if we were to sit in today's economic climate and you had to make a bet on the rest of your life, and let's just take last week earnings came out for Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon. I think Microsoft grew at 13%, Amazon at 7%, Meta double digit. All of them at their scale, we've never seen companies growing at this rate at this scale. It's unbelievable. And so do we have to be a genius to put our money into? Because what is the average rate of return of Warren Buffett? 20s, low 20s annually?
I mean,
Probably.
Probably low 20s annually.
Which
I think
is better than every.
Yeah, and
fund.
I think S&P is like 13 or 12 or whatever it is. So if you just look at more at common sense and you pick Meta and you pick, none of us on this podcast are geniuses or stock pickers, but like we could pick like companies that are going to grow at more than 15% pretty easily. And you just have to hold it. We said to buy Meta. We said to buy all of these companies 3, 4, 5 years ago. You just have to keep holding it.
Right.
They're going to keep growing.
I agree. It's similar to like every asset, like Bitcoin. Just hold it.
It's also like, man, it's just that the S&P 500 is just always there. It's always, I don't know.
By the way, that should be our default, where we have nothing else. I'll give you an example.
Just real quick.
I haven't bought stocks.
Berkshire is 11% average rate of return over the last 20 years.
11%.
Yeah.
And what's S&P 500?
10%.
Okay. And that makes all the difference.
Yeah. And so he's the best ever. Yeah, literally. Because if you can do that over 20 years,
okay,
that's his average over 20 years. Both of them average over 20 years.
So I hadn't bought stocks in a very, very long time. I'll just bullshit gamble on my Robinhood, small amounts of money. A month ago, the market was crashing. So I bought, I think I'm up 12% on S&P 500 in 1 month.
Yeah.
12%.
Yep. You beat Berkshire. Yeah, that's the thing. And the thing that I've also seen, because a lot of people come up to me now about, because we talk about it so much on the pod about investment stuff. And I feel like everything is so much about gambling, like crypto, sports, and options, that even when you tell people just put it in an S&P index, they're skeptical.
Yeah.
Like they think that they mentally lump that in the same bucket.
Yeah.
As like a shit coin.
And I think,
wait, they think S&P is gambling?
Yeah, because if you don't know, like, I think sometimes we don't realize how much your average person has no exposure, especially young people, zero exposure to the stock market. So if you say like, oh, just go on Robinhood or go on, create an account and put whatever your full amount that you want to invest in that and don't look at it and just let it sit, that it feels way too sketchy to them. Because it's all they know is sketchy. They don't have you know what I mean? They don't have a roadmap of seeing someone else do that. And so it just feels like you're telling them to put it all into Solana.
Right. I get it.
You know? But yeah.
No, it's
definitely like Warren Buffett. Props to Warren Buffett for putting like a face to the smartest investing strategy there is. Because other than that, it would just be like, oh, just invest in the index. But like, it's Warren Buffett. Like now there's the guy, he has a lot of great quotes and he retired as the GOAT with a strategy that anyone can follow. It's not like if you try to become Bill Ackman, good luck. Like what's the how do you do that? What's the blueprint? Warren Buffett,
this
anyone can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
this guy's phone's pretty good. All right.
Railroads are good.
Yeah, dude. Oh, people are liking this Apple thing fucking 10 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But no, it's good. And I think Buffett obviously is the GOAT. Anyone who's ever in the investing world knows he's the GOAT. And he simplified it, like what you said, just like break it down to the basics.
Yeah.
Right.
Railroads work.
Right.
iPhones work.
It's just imagine
it's not that hard.
McDonald's. No one's eating at McDonald's anymore. McDonald's is down.
McDonald's is down?
Yeah.
Yeah. McDonald's down. In-N-Out's up.
it's like, imagine if you read like books about like Kobe or any of the great athletes, it's like, oh my God, like you have to be a killer. You have to work harder than everyone else. People who all work really hard. You have to be 7 feet. You have to work out. You have whatever. And like with Warren, it's like, yo, just chill.
But by the way, I actually don't think it's that different. I think in
it's like
sports,
patience is the.
So there's a player on the Knicks. His name is Jalen Brunson. He hit the game-winning shot the other night, and there was all these clips of his childhood. He's only 6'1". He's not like a big guy.
Yeah,
and
is he only 6'1"?
Yeah, he's only 6'1", and they were showing like his childhood on TikTok or whatever, Instagram. He put in an enormous amount of work and effort to be on the Knicks and be the superstar on the Knicks. And if he wins a couple playoff series, Knicks, it's a loser franchise. So like if he gets to the finals, he's immediately one of the greatest Knicks ever.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at him as a guy that just did the fundamentals really, really, really well.
Yeah.
And I think in life, everyone wants to be the genetically gifted superstar, but the people that win are the sickle and hammer, got my lunch pail, and fucking grinded. And Warren Buffett is the epitome of that. And in sports, when it's all said and done, Tom Brady was not some genetically gifted athlete.
Right.
No.
Not by any stretch of imagination. Yep. He just worked harder. Roger Federer has famously said, it's not that he just worked harder than everyone else.
Right.
And
but you're so right. And there is a lot of similarities. What I'm saying that's such a mind fuck about investing is you have to work less. Like you have to not think about it. You have like the discipline is not touching it.
But that's genius in itself.
I know. But like that's the work. The work is don't work on it. The work is don't look at it. Don't think you're smarter than it. Don't try to beat it.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
The discipline is conviction.
Well, right. But what we're saying is, look, over 20 years, Berkshire Hathaway, 11%, which is the greatest investor of all time, unanimously agreed.
5.5 million%.
No. Average rate of return.
He said 20 years. In 20 years, S&P did 10, Berkshire did 11. That's it.
Okay, fine.
So I'm saying the difference between the greatest investor of all time and a guy with a Charles Schwab account that made 3 clicks is 1%. That's what's like so amazing about it is like the discipline of smart investing, at least in that style, is you have to do less. You have to not think you're smarter than.
Yeah, that's the key. You can't have the ego to think you're smarter than the market.
Right. Which is it's so hard. It's like, I feel like it's kind of like telling a gambling addict not to gamble. Like, it's like you think the next one is the big hit. We're all gambling addicts on some level, right? And it's like, you want the next gain, the next boost. You have FOMO over NVIDIA. You have this, I should have got in. Oh, the market's ripping now. Now the tariffs, whatever. Like, it's so hard to do nothing.
I think the thing with investing that I've realized is as soon as it's obvious, it's not too late.
Meaning there's more room?
There's tons of room.
But the difference there, I think, is it has to actually be obvious, not a trend.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I think NVIDIA obvious at the peak? I don't know. I mean, who knows? That might end up still going way up from its peak, but like you have to not get caught in hype and see when a business is legitimately obvious.
So the way that it plays out in Warren Buffett's head is profits.
Right.
So in the case of Apple, 10 years ago, Apple was extremely profitable.
Right.
So he's looking at it like...
Yeah, he's looking at it from a cash flow perspective.
Yeah, if it's just chugging along at this rate, I'll make my money. It did way better than that. It ended up being fucking 500% from when he invested. So it was his greatest trade ever is Apple. And he gave credit to Tim Cook saying, my best bet ever was Apple and Tim Cook. And so I don't know. It's fascinating. Like investing is incredibly difficult, and
it's impossible.
It's impossible, and
it's so impossible that the best fucking guy. I mean, I just can't stop saying it enough. The best guy beat the S&P by 1%.
1%.
That's how impossible it actually is. And it's
in 20 years. Sorry, he beat it by like insane amounts since 1964.
But 1% over 40 years might only.
No, he said 20 years. Right?
No, but I don't think Berkshire Hathaway's average rate of return year by year.
Berkshire Hathaway since 1964 is 5.5 million %.
Right, but what's 11% a year since 1964?
39,000%.
I know, but what is it compared to S&P?
I just said 39%.
That doesn't make sense. It's not 5. There's no way.
Look at it.
It's not 39%.
No, not 39. 39,000%.
Versus what?
5.5 million.
Let me do a little research here.
Yeah, I'm calling fake news.
You can call fake news.
I'm looking at this. Berkshire Hathaway over how many years?
1964.
Since 1964.
Is that when it started?
Since what started?
Okay, average rate of compound annual gain per share market value of approximately 19.8%.
So Berkshire did 19.8%, which is what we thought. S&P did 10.2.
Right. So
that makes sense.
Valid, double, big deal. I still just want to point out the point that over the last 20 years, it was still only 11%, 11 point whatever percent, still only a 1% difference. So we're both, this isn't a right and wrong thing, but your point stands on him, but it's just the fact that like anyone on earth can be in the S&P 500. It takes no connections. It takes no smarts.
I agree.
It takes nothing.
How many times have I said
No,
this?
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying it's a fascinating topic. And then over the last 20 years, the best investor on earth beat it by 1% every year. It's just the fact that he was able to do it every year. You know, the average is that, right? Because most funds, they might beat it and then they're way down. And it's just fascinating. Anyway, we should move on. Yeah.
Okay.
Oil, drill, baby, drill.
Oil is going down by 4% by tomorrow morning because OPEC has decided we don't like some of these people that are producing too much oil. Fuck them.
Fuck them. Let's drill.
And what's interesting is gas is dropping everywhere in America. If you don't live in America, in the United States, gas prices have dropped so dramatically, except for California. It's a fucking joke.
Why is that?
I paid $4.89. When I travel all over the country, $2.30, $2.49.
Here's
the
Gavin,
challenge. Of course.
The challenge is the $1.98.
What?
$1.98.
Where's that?
Where is it?
I'm just saying, I've seen $2.
Have you seen $1.98?
I know, but why am I paying $4.89? How about that?
What's $1.98
in California?
That's a challenge right now.
Okay, but my challenge is I pay $4.89. Everyone else is paying $2.50.
Why is that though? Do you know the technical reason why that is?
You know why? Because everyone in California is fucking stupid.
Right.
Stupid.
Didn't we just become the fourth largest fucking GDP? What did we?
You know why? Because it's nothing to do with any politician.
Yeah.
The mayor is dumb as shit.
Yeah.
The governor is dumb as shit. We have nothing. If the politicians were not running California, we'd be number one.
Are we at a deficit?
We have Apple. We have Tesla. We have fucking every company. Facebook.
Right.
We have everything.
Do we have a deficit?
Why are we number one? Number 4 is a joke. We should be number 1.
I know. Do we have a deficit?
Of course we do. Because we're morons. This state is run by idiots.
It's so bad.
Why don't you guys move?
No, why? Why do I have to move?
I'd rather stay and complain. It's going to be 85 degrees all week.
Just stay and complain.
Yeah,
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah,
that's the name of the podcast.
That's what I'm doing. It's going to be 85
I'm going to vote them all out. We vote them out of the presidency. We're going to vote them out of the governorship. We're vote them out of the mayorship. Vote them all out.
I will say, as a registered,
everyone complains. No one moves.
No, they moved out of fucking America
need to move
to El Salvador.
They need to move.
Yes.
I will say, as I still consider myself a Democrat, and as a registered Democrat, there's no better argument against the current Democratic mindset than California.
Yeah. I mean, California's a loser political state. But it's
like it's the Democrats' dream.
I just don't know why
if they
you guys don't
the
move.
whole country would be California.
Why don't you guys move?
I don't need to.
I want them to move on, and Gavin's out of here.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to kick them all out. We're going to vote them all out. We're going to vote them all out. Out of here.
I'm loyal to the actual geography.
You fuck with me, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Just move.
Karen. No, I'm going to move them out.
You got to go, Karen.
We got to go, Karen. We're out of here.
Go.
I just want to see you guys move.
Proud
Kick rocks,
to be an American. At least we know it's free.
But drama, because Dee's obviously crazy.
Yeah.
If you actually believe this, why wouldn't you move?
Because we're going to kick them out.
He has kids. He has kids in school.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. You don't.
My real explanation for why not is because number one, I think it showed in the election that more and more people are going the other way and are fed up with these policies and these things. And I love California. I want them voted out. I don't want to leave.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they should leave.
You can't leave. I know Dee can't leave.
But my point is we're going to change the state. The state is going to change.
Do you really think so, Drama?
100%.
He's I don't know what his relationship status is, but you can move. You can move and live
single, untethered, no need to stay. But I believe not only
live in the most MAGA city in LA.
I know, but I'm saying
No, I'm talking about you.
Yeah,
you live in a MAGA city. You live in a MAGA city.
Yeah,
it's changing. The politics of LA are changing.
No, but I'm saying why would someone with no kids that can literally work from anywhere,
I'll tell you why.
Why aren't you moving?
I'll tell you the honest reason why. Because number one,
you can go to Miami, you go to Austin, you go to
the weather is incredible. My friends are here. I've built a life here. I have a gym here. I have all of my hobbies here. I don't want to leave. I think they are wrong. And I think that the tide is changing. I think if you look at the county by county voting, how everyone voted in the presidential election, it's insanely red for California. I think that what happened with the wildfires, people are really pissed and it exposed a lot. I think people have had enough. Let me say this. If I didn't think that a growing number of Californians agreed with the way that I'm feeling and that things were starting to change in a very small way, then maybe I would think about leaving. But I think that they're the ones that are wrong.
All right, so we did 6 months on tariffs. What's your month on leaving California?
When will you leave California?
Never.
Yeah. What if it goes Republican?
What if we go red and we ban everything? We ban everything. You can't even.
What if it turns into Texas?
You're going to get deported.
No, I'm not leaving California.
Exactly.
What? It's the same thing
for us.
No, but my question is the drama.
We're going to start anyone who's not Republican. We're going to deport them. We might do that.
Yeah, you never know.
Are you going to
H1B parking tickets?
H1B, you're out.
Speeding.
H1 Indian.
Speeding
out.
while Democrat.
No,
speeding.
Send him to El Salvador.
Drama said
Alcatraz is
back open. Send all the speeders.
If we rewind to the podcast, Drama said September is when he gets really nervous.
Yep. No, September is when I'll apologize.
And then when would you leave? Because you're like, this is a terrible state.
We'll leave when you leave. When we see,
I'm not leaving.
We're going to pack you up.
But why do I have to think about leaving? You don't.
You have to think about it too.
There's a Republican governor. You what?
Republican governor, abortion's banned. You're fucked.
Yeah, then what?
You're done. What are you doing?
No, I have the best doctors in the world at UCLA Hospital.
Right.
Okay, so you're not leaving no matter what. Neither are we. No matter what.
No, I want him.
I have the best restaurants.
I want him to say it.
He's not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Why would he leave?
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm gonna fix it from the inside.
It's a Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can't vote him out if you move. No, look, I'll try to give you an honest answer. If I felt like it was just continuing to go down this bad path and delusion.
What's the pushing point?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like you literally
if you
can't.
show up in a dress, we're all leaving. You show up in a dress.
That's all
leaving.
it takes.
That's it. You show up in a dress.
I might do it next spot.
Okay, I'm going to do it so I can send it to your kids. Yeah. I will do it. If you show up in a dress, I'll leave the state.
We're going to Austin. Yeah, once again,
I want to see Kill Tony. We still got to do that.
I know we do have to do that. It would have to get so unbearably bad. But my point is, I think that where the Democrats are messing up, keep in mind, as someone who really wishes that the Democrats would get their shit together and win, because that's what I'd prefer to just be behind. There is such an enormous level of disappointment in the way things are going that something is going to have to change. Like everyone's not like just head over heels in love with Gavin Newsom and what's going on. And oh my God, California's so amazing. It's getting better every year. Everyone knows.
Yep.
But my point is like, if you can fuck up the best state in the country, number 4 or whatever it is, GDP in the world, you must be so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Think about it on business terms. It's like someone gave you a free, fucking addictive, cash flowing, legacy, never going out of business, and you found a way to mess it up.
No, sure.
Okay, great. I'm never leaving. Not fucking leaving.
Let's see. I want you to leave.
No. Well,
I actually don't want you to leave. I don't want you to leave.
We ran into each other the other night. We're not going to run into each other anymore if I'm living in fucking Nashville.
Proud to be a Californian. At least we know we wear dresses.
I'm wearing a dress next. So if I wear a dress the next podcast, what happens?
Have to wear a dress.
We book
to your kid's school at drop off, and I'll leave the state.
Okay, let's end on this. So we are, as we talked about tariffs and, also obviously kind of recession. I think the two are obviously connected, but I think in some ways not. But we are also in like Q1 earnings time. I mean, I will say earnings in general seem healthier than I expected.
Yep.
But
shocked.
Yeah, me too. But consumer confidence is very low. I'm just curious here. I'm curious if this is a Q2. I don't know. Does it kick in Q2 earnings? Is there something we're missing?
So my question to both of you, because you guys are talking to the biggest retailers in the world.
Yep.
What's the feedback? What's going on? There's obviously like a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And how's everyone kind of planning? I think the planning thing is the most important.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen is everyone is saying they're not spending, but spending in March and April have been pretty strong. I think it's unclear. Retailers are struggling to figure out how to plan for the rest of the year. I think they all feel like they're going to stomach a decent amount of tariffs. And I think from what I've gathered, just talking to the really big retailers, no one believes this is going to last more than 3 months. 3 months is kind of the...
Well, Drama said September, right?
Yeah, but that's more than...
Like 5
That's more
months,
than 3,
right?
yeah. That's why if it lasts that long, then no bueno. I agree, though. For some reason, I really do get the feeling that there's a channel, there's a group chat.
What percent is okay? What percent is okay?
Percent of
tariff?
what? Oh,
tariffs. So right now it's 145.
Well,
I think 20 is a win for everybody.
No, Drama is importing goods.
No, but I
What
think Dee's right. Yeah, but I think it also depends on what what's their tariff. How much does that change? What's the whole picture? Where do we end up? But because like I said, if I'm being honest about me personally, I can adjust. And I think a lot of people will adjust. So I don't know exactly the number. I think the thing that not just thinking about myself, do not want to see is like chaos and devastation and bankruptcies and blood and guts. We're not there yet, but we're on the path.
No, I understand what you're saying, but can you explain how your parents think about this?
About tariffs?
Yeah.
You know what they say? They're proud to be Americans.
But
at least I know
Drama's dad's a business guy.
Yeah, I did talk to them for a while about it. I mean, look, I think that they're probably like most, intelligent Americans. Like my dad doesn't have any sort of.
Your dad's very smart.
He's incredibly smart. What I'm saying is he doesn't have a business that's like affected by this. So he's more just like curious. Right. So I think that most really smart like Americans probably are just scared. Like you don't know exactly what it means. And that's once again why I wish, the media handled things a little bit better. And to be honest, I wish that the Trump administration, their messaging was a little clearer, because I think that there's a lot of people that may never be impacted by tariffs at all that are just scared because everyone's talking about it and they're talking about how bad it is and how all this stuff but no one, I don't think people who aren't directly impacted by it as business owners, I don't think know what it means. It just sounds really, really scary. And they're like, oh my God, is my toilet paper and my basic essentials about to triple in price? And do I need to be panicking? And should I be stocking up on toilet paper?
If you look at the media, I was looking at Apple News today, 7 things you need to stock up on before tariffs go into place. Like everyone is creating fear.
Yes. And look, I will say here, and Anand will love this part, is I don't think the president and the administration did a very good job at the way that they communicated. I know that he's trying to do whatever he's trying to do with negotiating or playing hardball or whatever, but I think that he's not quite like addressing your average American citizen that doesn't know if they should be stocking up or not. I think that could have been a little smoother.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's Anand. I talked about it. I asked my dad because they were in town. I asked him about it a lot. He was more just asking me, like, well, what are you going to do? And how does this work? And what happens if that happens and whatever. But they don't, I think other than maybe some just, once again, people are very sensitive to fear and the unknown, and especially like economic unknowns. And if you say trade war and China and things doubling in cost and, and that's just right now we're still in fear land. We're not in any like measurable impact.
Yeah.
But the fear alone can cause recessions and tank markets, as we all know.
Sure.
But look, Q1 earnings, everything seemed good. So we'll see what happens.
I want to hear the Heartland. So I'd love to hear your parents' takes.
Yep. You know what you should really do one time? This sounds like
That is America.
What you should do sometime is give them a call. They would be so happy.
I'd love to give them a call.
If you gave them a call,
I love
and
your
just
parents.
said,
what are you talking about?
I'm saying you don't, and I didn't.
But call them.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Call them tomorrow.
I'll call them tomorrow.
If you called them and said, "Hey, I just wanted to check in. I wanted to ask you a few questions," they would be so happy.
I will call them tomorrow. I promise you. And Wednesday pod, I'll report back.
Deal.
Okay.
Love that.
All right.
Okay. Comment shout outs.
Yes.
Okay.
We got a YouTube comment from @showme1024. Glad to see college party guys evolve into parent party guys. I would assume that's a reference to Stagecoach.
Yep. Yep. There you go. Show me.
Shout out from Easy. Shout out to my friend Kevin. He turns 29 today. He got a promotion recently at work, and he'll be standing in my wedding in 2 months. Just an awesome dude that I appreciate having in my life. Thanks, guys. Love the pod.
Nice.
All right.
That's a nice bro to bro shout out.
I like the bro to bro shout out. It's
Happy
nice.
birthday, Kev. All right.
All right. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for listening, everyone. Have a good week. Don't be scared. Everything's going to work itself out. Okay. And nothing on this show was investment advice, by the way, because we did talk a lot about.
So the last thing I'll end on, because obviously Dee went to Stagecoach.
Yep.
I ran into a dad that was at Stagecoach with Dee, and he said it's incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah, I think next year
he's like,
we need to just make it part of this.
Honestly, like we've graduated to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just make it part of the routine.
I'm down. I'll be there.
He's like, I'm going no matter what.
Okay. I like that idea. I like something new to look forward to. I mean, Coachella, I just looked forward to every year so much.
I think we're too old for Coachella.
Yeah, I'll start.
I'm not.
I'll start getting in there.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm the youngest one here.
I'm
Shut
good.
up. All right, guys. See you soon.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.